Okay, so thank you very much. We are going to open the Victoria County Municipal Council meeting for April 7th, 2021. And we have circulated the agenda. I just want to mention that our guest this evening, Wilf Kaiser, on behalf of the Crowders Mountain Snowmobile Club, is having some technical difficulty signing into our virtual meeting tonight. So we have put him on hold until such times that he can join. So having said that, the agenda has been circulated, and we're just going to add a quick note at the start of council that we are going to provide the list of volunteers that we wish to recognize for the past year. So we will add that as an agenda item under the call to order, and Mr. Kaiser will join us when he becomes available. So with that noted change and with that minor interruption, are there any other additions or deletions to the agenda this evening? Thank you. If not, could we please have a motion to accept the agenda with the noted change?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McLeod, seconded by Councillor McNeil. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, and there were multiple seconders for that, but I just used the first voice I heard. So with that, they will let us know when Wilf Kaiser is available. And I just want to read the list of volunteers that we as a municipality wish to recognize this year. And it's a short list, so just so people will know that we are going to recognize Diane Hart. She is a board member and volunteer for the Ty Karam Daycare Society and the Bredor Wellness Society. We're also recognizing John and Val Sobel from Kempt Head for the St. Joachim Church. Reverend Brian McLeod for Bedeck Youth Clubs, Rugby Club, Lions Club, and Local Legion. And I'm very pleased to mention that Reverend Brian is also our provincial volunteer of the year as well. So we want to make sure that we recognize him on that level as well. We're also recognizing the Greenwood Church Welcome Ladies from Bedeck, Gabrielle Braun from the Bedeck Area Youth Club, Knox Church, the Mental Health Group, and the Lions Club. We also wish to recognize Angus Nicholson from Big Bedeck from the Bedeck Valley Community Club. Rachel Germaini was nominated, and we accepted her nomination as soccer coach in Bedeck, basketball coach, volunteer referee, race organizer, etc., etc. And we're also recognizing Wendell McPhee from Big Bedeck. He's the president of the Bedeck Valley Community Fair. We also want to recognize Bobby Buchanan from just outside Bedeck, who I know just finished 55 years as a volunteer for the Bedeck Volunteer Fire Department. So well done. That's a remarkable number of years to volunteer to the fire department. And finally, we are also going to recognize the North Highlands Nordic volunteer team in Kid North for the work they did this winter down there. And they did a remarkable job of doing a new building down there. So with that, we want to send our congratulations to them. We could not hold a recognition event this year, obviously because of COVID. And we just want to make sure that people are aware that those volunteers were both valued and recognized in our municipality. We will be providing small tokens of appreciation to each of the individuals or groups, and your local councillor will be delivering those items to you or to your organization. So thank you for that. Mr. Kaiser is still not available, is he? Nope. No luck yet. Okay.
Not there yet, no.
Okay, thank you very much. The minutes of the last council meeting were distributed to you. They have been circulated. You had a chance to review those minutes. Are there any errors or omissions in those minutes? If you are satisfied with those minutes, could we please have a motion to accept those minutes as circulated?
I make a motion to accept those minutes as circulated.
Thank you, Councillor Longa. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Seconded by Deputy Warden Doffey. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion is carried. The minutes are approved. So we are going to go to, is there any business arising from those minutes? And we will also go to old business. So we will do any business arising first. Or we'll cover that in old business with the CAO. Go ahead, please, Leanne. Sorry, you're muted, Leanne.
Sorry, I thought
No problem.
I hit the button there. A couple of things from old business. There was asked to see the water collection disconnection policy that we have, and that has been sent out to council. There was also some questions on private road guidelines from District 6 and District 7, District 6, sorry. And those have been sent out also. We have a subdivision bylaw, and it talks in there about taking over roads. So Councillor Daphne has received that information related to that. There was a question on voting in the municipal election. Just to let you all know that we follow Elections Canada and Elections Nova Scotia guidelines. And so you must be a Canadian citizen to be able to vote in our municipal election. We have also sent out letters, all the letters that were requested, but specifically the letter on Bill 4 that was going before the legislature last week. On the bridge over in Councillor McNeil's district, we've contacted Link Electric. Link Electric said that they're waiting on the TIR ops supervisor to give them the work order on it. I also called dispatch, TIR dispatch related to it, and they said that the ops supervisor knows about it and waiting on sending instructions along. So I'm not sure if there are lights there yet or not, but no. Okay, so I'll have to make another call related to that. Then also related to the noise graffiti bylaw that we're looking for. I will be sending out tomorrow a first draft of a community standards bylaw, which deals with noise, pollution, defacing of property, which would encompass the graffiti part. And once we have the necessary readings related to the bylaws, we'll be able to pass that and then start assigning fines or summary offense tickets if anyone is caught with any of those things. So that's what I have related to old business arising from the minutes.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Are there any questions or comments for Leanne in regards to old business or any old business that you have to come out of the previous minutes?
I just had with that bylaw that's come up with the noise bylaw, and there was one of my constituents was watching the last meeting that we had and heard that we were talking about doing a noise bylaw, and she just wanted to make sure that agricultural things were not involved in that bylaw, like poultry farming and that type of thing, and that was her concern about the that would be put in so it would protect agricultural happenings.
Thank you for that. Any comments on that, Leanne? I'm sure it'll cover that as well, will it?
I don't think there's anything messaged or related to that in there, but that when you take it and have a look at it, you have the ability to put those comments forward before it goes to final reading for a bylaw. So you can send those comments back, Barb, once you receive a copy of it. And I believe that there's a section in it related to exemptions. So you could probably note that in the exemptions.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments, please?
Yes, Leanne, with regard to the summary offense tickets, do we have anyone who can issue them yet, or is it still in the pending stage?
So it's been sent to the Department of Justice, and I believe it's probably with our police advisory committee appointments. We're waiting on Department of Justice for the making of the committee that we had, but then also for getting back the approval of our summary offense officer. So it's in the works. We're closer than we've ever been, but we still need to wait for the Department of Justice.
So will the people that issue them be our present animal control officers? The two of them? Is that the intention?
The dog control officer is the only one who currently is able to, well, who is in the process of being trained to write these summary offense tickets. That will be something that will have to be discussed to add those other duties, but ideally, yes, that would be the person.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you,
my-
Councillor. Councillor McDonald, I'm sorry, Councillor McDonald and then Councillor Longva. Sorry. Go ahead, Councillor
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes, thank you, Warden. I was just wondering to see how municipality had sent 2 letters in the past in regard to correspondence to the project for the 5-year capital plan for the Dingwall Road area. I was just wondering, was there any correspondence received from the province as of late with that?
No, I'm afraid there hasn't been.
Okay, thank you. Just curious on that.
Thank you, Councillor Longva. I believe you had a question.
Yes, it was in regard to the Bill 4 that Leanne said she wrote a letter about that. That was the really old bill that says who can vote and not vote? Is that right? In the municipal rules book? No? Is that not right?
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
So what is Bill 4 then?
So Bill 4 was, there was a discussion about it at, I believe, last council related to the government passing
Land use.
passing a law related to private land, emergency orders that could go out for protection of land.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's actually called the Biodiversity Act. I think that's the official name of it.
Right.
So when I brought up the thing about people voting that own land and that are like lived here a long time and they're only landed immigrants and yeah, there's the rules that you have to be a Canadian citizen, but I thought that we discussed at that meeting that was like a rule in the municipality book that was like made, that it's a really old rule that possibly there could be some, like a letter written to somebody to see if it can be reviewed and maybe updated.
So we follow the MGA, the Municipal Government Act. But our election is governed by Elections Nova Scotia, which sets the rules.
Okay, so the MGA doesn't have any say in that.
Well, it does, but there's several, there's lots of outdated items that are in the MGA. Yeah, but voting for, you have to be a Canadian citizen to be able to vote.
Even at I mean, I understand that at like provincial and federal levels, but I'm talking about at the municipal level where they pay the same taxes we do.
They pay the same taxes
Well,
Canadian
people who
and
live here,
provincial as we do as well.
yeah, who buy, the people who have bought property here, lived here for 25 years, have made businesses here, but they're still landed immigrants. They can't vote municipally. And I'm wondering if there's anything that we could do to change that, or if anybody's even interested. I mean, I know there's people in my district that would certainly like to be able to vote. They would have liked to been able to vote for me when I was running, and they'd like to be able to vote for other things at the municipal level. Is there nothing that can be done?
Comment. There is one option, is they can apply to become a Canadian citizen if voting is that important to them. Like, that is one option, and I think that's usually what happens in all levels of government, is you have to be a Canadian citizen, so they do have the right to apply to be a Canadian citizen.
I guess the other option would be we could ask for the opinion of our municipal advisor if it's been an issue anywhere else and what the response was. But I suspect, as CAO says, that we're restricted by legislation and regulation, that unless you are a Canadian citizen, right now you're not entitled to vote in municipal, provincial, or federal elections. But we can get clarification on that if you wish, Councillor.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McNeil, did you have a question or comment on that? Okay. So one last, is there any other old business? I know that Mr. Kaiser has joined us and we're going to be have his presentation shortly. Just any final old business before we move on? I just have one, and it has to do with, and I just wanted to make sure I'm correct on this, Leanne, we haven't heard anything back from Department of Transportation in regards to the traffic issues at the Irving property.
So we did. So I sent you out a letter that they have sent that out, that they have sent out to us, and they are looking to do another traffic study.
Yes, and I think with that, I did see that, and we were going to follow up to find out if that study was going to be done by an independent
third party or not.
A third party
Yeah,
or not.
we've not received a response on that.
That was my question. We haven't heard anything
Yeah,
back from
that's
that.
right.
So, okay,
No.
thank you very much. Sorry about that. So I believe Wilfred Kaiser is here. He is representing the Crowdis Mountain Snowmobile Club. He has a presentation that he wishes to make. And can we have Wilf join our council meeting this evening?
Great, thank you very much.
Can you,
Appreciate
are
the
you,
opportunity.
thanks, Wilf. And I'm just wondering, we have you on audio, but are you not available on video as well?
It might make sense for him just to not be if
Oh,
his
there he is.
connection isn't that stable.
Wilf, we find,
Sorry.
sorry, Mr. Kaiser, we find if you become a little bit scratchy in your presentation or your reception, that turn the video off and just continue with audio. I'm not sure if you have a PowerPoint presentation or you're just doing a verbal presentation this evening. So.
I do have a PowerPoint presentation. I believe going to be advanced for me from your end.
Okay, well, what I will do, because I can hear an echo, if I would ask you to turn your video off and we can run the power. Can we run the PowerPoint?
Yep.
Great. So Wilf, you're good. You can hear me. Thank you very much for attending council. We look forward to your presentation. Take us through your presentation and we'll open it for questions. Does that sound reasonable to you?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All
Gordon.
right. We'll turn it over to you, sir. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Well, again, thank you very much, Council and Warden, for allowing the Crowdis Mountain Snowmobile Club to take up some of your time this evening. I'll try to make up some of that time that I wasted on you earlier. Sorry for the confusion over getting connected. As a result of many things, we're currently moving towards purchasing new equipment, and that'll be the subject of my presentation this evening. We did have a visit from Dan Coffin at a recent Snowmobile Club meeting, and it was very informative. Certainly helped us in many ways, and I was very encouraged to understand that trails are one of the priorities of the council, and we certainly will do our part to help you out with that aspect of your particular interest. So advance the slide, please. So when we talk about trails, you know, trails mean many things to many people. And of course, as you all well know, one of the most important aspects of where we live is that we have great winter conditions and we have wonderful scenery and just the most fabulous outdoors there can be. As a result of your efforts to develop and maintain multi-use trails in Victoria County, I'm sure you all ask yourselves, what is a great thing that you can do to increase the use of these multi-use trails? Advance the slide, please. So this winter in particular, there has been a significant and somewhat sustained increase in business and traffic on the trails that were in use through the winter. And of course, there are many reasons for that. And I know that it would have been of great interest to council to have seen all the extra business that came into Victoria County over the last several months as a result of some of these many factors. We know that there are a lot of snowmobilers that live at the other end of Nova Scotia, places like Yarmouth and Weymouth and Pubnico and many of the other areas there. They typically have historically gone to New Brunswick to experience their winter sport, and they have typically a fair bit of disposable income to put towards the enjoyment of their sport. So we know from speaking with business owners and operators in Victoria County that there were many of these snowmobilers who made repeat visits to the county over the course of the winter. And to us, one of the compelling reasons for that is that we have a potential product here in Victoria County that will far surpass what has now become the benchmark for the sport of snowmobiling in Eastern Canada. And that benchmark for us is New Brunswick. New Brunswick is many years ahead of us in terms of development of services and amenities and trails themselves and the grooming of the trails, the maintenance of those trails. But we have many things that New Brunswick does not have to offer. And that, again, I'll go back to the spectacular beauty of Victoria County, the wonderful vistas and views that are available to folks who go out in the wintertime and take advantage of being in this wonderful place. Advance the slide, please. So I want to talk for a brief bit about the fact that snowmobiling is such a good fit for Victoria County, and the natural resource here that is winter in the Highlands is something that snowmobiling can really capitalize on. So we know that Cape Breton in the summer, you know, tourism, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot going on every year. And I know that you as a council are very in tune with the opportunities that exist in the summertime. And I know that you're working hard to develop tourism through the whole year, but particularly in the summer. And I also know or understand that Victoria County and Destination Canada and Destination Cape Breton and Tourism Nova Scotia all want to see seasonal extensions of the tourism, the traditional tourism season, and also the development of winter tourism. So again, I go back to what we saw taking place this year through the snowmobiling season when we had repeat visitors coming back and, you know, putting out their opinion on social media, how impressed they are with the area, how impressed they are with the trails in the county, and how they believe there's a lot more here to be offered. So we know that well-groomed trails are both a tourism and a recreational driver. And by that, I mean, you know, what I just spoke about, the tourism aspect is going to be driven by good trails and well-maintained trails. And the recreational driver will bring in the residents that are here all year anyway, you know, and the wise ones that don't go south in the winter and stick around to enjoy the wonderful winters that we have here in Victoria County. One of the keys to developing this in the go forward, of course, is having reliable trail grooming equipment. It's both a key and it's critical. And I think anyone who is out on the trails starts to understand that if you don't have good groomed trails leading to your services, and we know that we already have those services available here in Victoria County. We have great restaurants, we have lots of great places to stay, things to do. So we need to have good well-maintained, well-groomed trails leading to those points so that business can grow and advantage can be taken of the trail system. Advance the slide, please. The Snowmobilers Association of Nova Scotia is the association that we as a club belong to. And there are 21 clubs in Nova Scotia belonging to the association. The association does many things for us, but one of the key things the association does is advocacy. So with the recent Biodiversity Act, as it was originally intended, there is a lot of concern on the part of rural residents, and in particular residents of Victoria County should be concerned because they, I guess in my view, ill-intentioned Halifax-centric provincial government did go off in the wrong direction or in a direction that would not be good for rural residents with the introduction of the Biodiversity Act as initially structured. And the Snowmobilers Association of Nova Scotia very quickly became concerned and got on board and reached out to residents across the province and asked them to become informed and to realize what was happening. So that's an example of advocacy of our association. Another example is on this slide, Cape Breton Island, your heart will never leave. So, you know, the Snowmobilers Association of Nova Scotia already promotes snowmobiling in Victoria County. Another thing is that the Snowmobilers Association of Nova Scotia is also a member of the Canadian Council of Snowmobilers. So this is an opportunity where we can reach out to other provinces, in particular Ontario, and develop a market segment in Ontario that will draw people to Victoria County when we have our amenities further developed and in shape to receive additional business traffic throughout the winter. Advance the slide, please. So the Crowds Mountain Snowmobile Club also enjoys support from other trail users. In particular, an identifiable group is the cross-country skiers, in Victoria County, and they have been very helpful to us, both as financial and other supporters to the efforts that we undertake. Others include snowshoers and people who just simply get out and walk on the trails. Because again, there's such a great product here, a great potential product for folks to get out in the countryside, take advantage of the wonderful views and vistas that Victoria County has to offer, and really capitalize on this wonderful place where we live. Advance the slide, please. So our club is actually relatively small in comparison to the other 20 clubs in Nova Scotia, but we do have a lot on our plates. We maintain hundreds of kilometers of multi-use trails. We do fundraising. We maintain and operate heavy equipment. We support local business. We have a lot of fun, and we promote the sport. We go around to other places and we talk about snowmobiling and we promote the sport as we go. Advance the slide, please. One of the keys to promoting this sport is that we interconnect with other clubs in Cape Breton. We promote other users or other snowmobilers and users to come to Victoria County. For example, there are a great number of snowmobilers who live in Cape Breton County, right next door to us. But for the most part, they all come here to Victoria County to take advantage of the wonderful product that we have here. So one of the things that is currently a challenge for us as a snowmobile club is our trail groomer. We need to replace our trail groomer, and that's why we're speaking with you this evening. Advance the slide, please. Trail interconnectivity is what will really grow this product in the long run. So Victoria County is actually the best county. We have the best natural resource, and we need to take advantage of that. Surrounding clubs their trails lead into our trails. And this interconnectivity is what is going to make this overall product be successful. So many of the adjoining clubs have recently purchased new grooming equipment, or they're in the process of purchasing new grooming equipment. And of course, we want to be able to keep up for sure. Now, I know that councillors from districts such as District 1 and District 5 and 7 and 8, I know you're sitting there and you're saying, well, I don't really see how that necessarily helps me because your trails don't connect to my district. Well, I want to tell you that there are a few ways this helps. Number one, this trail interconnectivity gets us from here in southern Victoria County, it gets us to northern Victoria County. And that's important. If we're able to bring in folks from off island or beyond and show them that they can go all over the place. They can start here and they can go all over the place and come back here and they can have a simply wonderful time. That's part of what we will do. And as those folks come in, you will find, and I apologize for saying it that way, because I'm sure you're much more aware of it as councillors than I am, but our economic development happens through people coming here, seeing what Cape Breton has to offer, seeing what Victoria County has to offer, and then coming back to visit at other times of the year, coming back to purchase property. I myself have been on the trails. I've run into snowmobilers who have said to me, this is fantastic. It's my first time. I want to see if I can buy property here so I can take advantage of my sport to the fullest. And that's a reality. We're very fortunate with the natural resource that we have here. We just need to take more advantage of it. Again, our trails may not go to some of the districts, but there are ways that we can help support the other districts through development of the product here in this area. Advance the slide, please. So, you know how sometimes you get some ad and it says not exactly as shown. This is the opposite. This is exactly as shown. This is a key part of our trail grooming equipment. We rely on this machine. This machine is it's almost 30 years old, and we do need to replace it because when we use it for 1 day grooming trails, we typically repair it for the next 2 days. That's when we're lucky enough that it makes a round trip and gets back home. Other times we have to go trail side and fix it. So to replace this piece of equipment, it's going to cost us in the range of $400,000. We are already executing a strategy to raise money to buy a new groomer in that price range. We will raise money through club members and supporters, and we will also try to raise money through 3 levels of government. That's why I'm speaking with you this evening, and I appreciate your time. So we will move next to the province. We have a meeting with them later this month, and we will be forwarding an application to ACOA, who have already said that they are very interested and will most likely support us with 1/3 of the funding. We just have to nail that down. So any of the funding gaps that are going to exist, we're going to have a loan from NEDAC to backstop those gaps so that we can proceed forward with our strategy. Advance the slide, please. So a great way that you can get the most winter use out of your trails in Victoria County is to help support us financially as we move forward to purchase a new groomer. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Wilf. Excellent presentation. Well done. I know that there are questions, and I would like to open it up to questions if you're okay for that, Wilf. And perhaps what we will do is start and just kind of work our way through the municipalities. So I would like to start with District Number 1 and Councillor McNeil, and then we'll move forward for any questions or comments that some of the councillors may have. So Councillor McNeil, if you would, please.
No, thank you, Will, and thank you, Warden. Thank you, Will, for the great presentation. As we observed this year, the surge in snowmobile traffic throughout the county, was a great economic boom for every place. And you mentioned my district, District 1, is not benefiting, but really we did benefit. There was traffic going through Iona, the district. I think there was night stayed at the inn here. People, there was that much traffic going on that local bed and breakfasts and were used. So there is economic benefit throughout the county for it. It's a shame to see this year wasted if we don't improve our trails. And I think it's just like especially the snowmobile trails. It's an economic boom for the county. So thank you for your presentation, Will.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. We're going to move on to Councillor McLeod in District number 2, please.
Thank you, Will, for your presentation. As you know, I'm in the beginning of the trails where the people go to north, and I see the connectivity between the south and north and south, and it's very important. The trails. We have some conversation about if there are no groomers, people don't come. They stop and they return back to where they original travel. I see the importance, and I support the importance of big trails have groomer. I didn't catch what can the area you are covering? How many kilometers you say? Or like an average?
Sure, thank you. We have approximately 400 kilometers in our catchment area. Some of those are out and back, so we don't have all loops, but that would be great if we can develop to the point where all of our trails loop.
Okay, no, that's great. No, and thank you. And I assume, do you put any applications for us?
Yes, absolutely. We actually put in 2 applications this year.
Okay, but we're looking for that, and thank you for the presentation.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McLeod. We're going to go to District number 4, Councillor Longba.
Hi, that was a great presentation. And is Leo Founds, is he part of your group as well?
Yes, absolutely, Councillor, yes.
Yeah, because I was dealing with Leo on another issue, and he had mentioned about that the club was looking for a new groomer, but I know that he as well as a lot of the other people involved there put in a lot of volunteer time clearing those trails, and often when I called him, he would be like, busy doing that, and told me that they had many hours of in-kind time to put towards the cost of the machine. Anyway, I think it's a great cause, and thanks for your presentation.
Wonderful, thank you, Councillor. Yes, a lot of hours are spent on volunteer time every year. Thanks.
Thank you, and we're going to go to District number 5, Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Warden. Hi, Will. It's Fraser Patterson from Ross Ferry in District 5, as you mentioned earlier. Disclosure, I guess I'm not a big fan. I'm more of a creature comfort person. I don't like, not that I don't like, but I have no desire to have a snowmobile or an ATV or even a motorcycle. I love driving my car. But having said that, I think Councillor McNeil pointed out quite well the economic benefit to the county, the whole county. And just a couple of things. A couple of months ago, I went to Port Hawkesbury on a Saturday or a Sunday, a Saturday probably, and it was a steady stream of vehicles with snowmobile trailers behind them. So that I don't know if that was a rally or just a regular thing or not. Secondly, you mentioned New Brunswick. I lived in New Brunswick for 4 years, and those ads that they had on TV, I can't believe that's the same New Brunswick I lived in. But they made a real industry, I suppose you could call it, out of trails and so on and so forth. So having said all that, weighing everything out, nothing is either 100% right or 100% wrong. I think it is an economic boon to the county. And when you're out there in the middle of a stormy day or whatever, I'll be sitting by the fireplace. So
Thank you very much, Councillor. Two points, I guess. For sure, what you saw when you were traveling, the number of trailers and trucks on the road with snowmobiles on the back this year, that was pretty much a regular occurrence every day. It's simply astounding how big the potential is here, and as well on the New Brunswick thing, that was the point I was trying to make. I think that we have a better product to offer here. I think given some time and some effort, because of the much vastly superior natural resource we have in the islands, we can produce a better product, and we can see more economic development here than even New Brunswick realized in the past decades that they've been at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. We're going to move up to District number 6, Ninginish, and Deputy Warden, please.
Thanks very much, Warden, and thanks very much, Will, for excellent presentation. I don't think you have to sell me. I was up there this winter and I was totally amazed what we have up in the Highlands. And after taking a short trip down to overlooking North River Falls on that little trail that wasn't groomed, we've got an appreciation for groomers even more. But I'd like to say thank you for your club and all the work they do and the cooperation with all the other groups within Cape Breton to make this a possibility. When you say some districts don't maybe see the full benefit of it, I can guarantee you that I know pretty well someone in every district that does Skidoo themselves. So having access to driving a short distance to get to a trail, doesn't matter if you can get there in your Skidoo or by truck, it's appreciated by everybody. But once again, great work. Look forward to supporting you greatly in the near future. And I'm sure we'll see you up on the Highlands one of these days. Thanks very much, Will.
Well said, Deputy. We're going to move to Councillor Oregon. Neil Tarver, please.
Hi, Mr. Kaiser. I'm like Fraser. I'm not a snowmobiler. Don't want to own one anymore, but I do see the benefit of it, and I do see a lot of people, even from my area, where we have no access yet to the trails. Hopefully, one of these days we will see it down north on with Parks Canada. So, but thank you so much for the presentation, and good luck.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor Oregon. We're going to move up to final District number 8, Councillor McDonald.
Yes, thank you, Warden. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser, for your presentation. It was very well put. Up from this side of Northern Cape Breton, District 8, it starts in South Harbour and goes up to Bay St. Lawrence. So we had 2 snowmobile rallies this year with over 300 sleds. And I'd be willing to bet those 300 sleds throughout the season have gone towards the Highlands up to your area. And economic spin-offs from all that is immense, and look forward to senior applications at Council. And thank you for your presentation.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Councillor.
thank you for that, Councillor McDonald. And just before we wrap up, I'm just wondering if CAO has any questions or comments before we wrap up, please.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things. Yeah, great presentation. I'm hoping you all council know, and the snowmobile clubs, I'm fully supportive of all of these things. I think that it's great. I think that we're never living in Cape Breton, we're never going to get rid of snow. So we may as well embrace it, and we may as well benefit from it. So I'm just wondering, Wilf, were you able to tell what the difference was year over year, like this year maybe compared to last year in the number of visitors, this being COVID and, sort of the Atlantic bubble helped with getting people here, but was it a lot of unfamiliar faces this year over last year?
It definitely was. We actually don't have, unfortunately, we don't have statistics, or we didn't we didn't sort of do any scientific study, but the traffic this year was up exponentially. And there were a couple of factors. Last year, we had a lot of trouble with our groomers. We didn't get the trails in shape like we wanted to.
Mhm.
And then COVID-19, it truncated our season as well. So we'd have to go back a couple of years to find the right kind of comparator. But as it stands, this year was just exponentially beyond the number of visits previous. And the feedback was really, really positive. Like, so many people made repeat visits after they came for the first time this year. And that was really interesting to us.
Yeah, I actually think, I believe that Destination Cape Breton is going to try and do a survey for the snowmobilers that did come here, see if they can find them and see if they can give us some pointers for improvements as well. So amenities on the trails, things like how groomed the trails actually were. So all of those things should be able to help with our trail development also. So I look forward to seeing your 2 applications.
Very good. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Council. Thank you, Leanne. And just a couple of quick notes I just want to pass on to you, Wilf. You know, I don't have a snowmobile, as you know, but I do a lot of cross-country skiing, and the groomer and the snowmobiles open up so many trails for cross-country skiers in Victoria County. You know, it just offers us a number of trails that we can use. And we saw a lot of people utilizing those trails this year in particular. Just to go back to Leanne's point, there's no question that, you know, one of the benefits, if there have been benefits of COVID, is that we've seen a lot more snowmobilers coming to our area. It's evident in Bedeque with the number of machines that we see here and the rooms that have been booked at the local hotels and motels that previously we didn't see that. And just as somebody said about traffic, I drive by the fire hall in Waikagama, I'd see 50 snowmobiles there and none on Bedeque. And now we're seeing lots in Waikagama, we're seeing lots in Bedeque. So it's good for Cape Breton in particular. And I guess at the end of the day, the proof is in the snow. I mean, we have it and people want it and they're going to come here to enjoy it. So I think with the groomer, if we don't have a groomer, it's like trying to have traffic on the highway without a plow. You do need it. It is necessary, and we look forward to reviewing both your applications when we look at those grants in the next 4 to 5 weeks. So we're probably going to end it there. Wilf, do you have any final comments before we sign off?
I just want to thank everyone for their time and attention, and appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it was an excellent presentation, Wilf. Really well done. So we appreciate that. We know you put a lot of time and effort and thought into it, and your application will be worthy of consideration when we go to budget deliberations. So thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you.
See ya. So next item on our council agenda is we had to move around a little bit to make that appropriate change, but we finished off with our old business. It is 6 o'clock. We had agreed for a quick 10-minute break. So I think at this time we will take that 10-minute break, and then when we reconvene, we're going to do new business and have the CAO's report. I have 5:58, so we will reconvene at approximately 6:08. Thank you.
Hi, Fraser. Did you get any of that ice storm over your way?
Hi, Barb. No, we didn't have any of it. We only had, well, a heavy rain basically, but not even that much wind. I was
Yeah.
surprised. Did you get?
We had the rain too, but we didn't get that ice storm. I guess if they got hit hard in Inverness.
Yeah, that's what it looked like with the pictures I've seen anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Guys, just to let you know, although we're on break, we are still live on Facebook through the break, just to give a heads up.
Yeah. This is what we do on break, Dan, you know.
I know, but just didn't want to, you never know what you're scratching at any given time.
I missed the affordable housing meeting. I couldn't get on. I signed up for it and everything, and then I didn't know what to do to get on there. It's very frustrating.
Do we have everybody back?
I think Norman's still out.
Okay, I got up and moved and I lost my agenda. Just pardon me 1 minute here.
We're just waiting for Norman. Warden.
No problem. I'll look for my agenda while we're waiting for Norman.
Apologies, there wasn't had a connection issue. Sorry about that.
Not a problem, sir. We know that you probably had a council issue that you were dealing with. So thank you very much for returning, and we are going to reconvene council, and we're going to do new business, and we'll have the CAO's report, please.
Yep, okay, so had a department head meeting this week, so a few things to report. Our senior safety officer is working on getting transportation set up through PERLA, also through Victoria County Transit for transportation to vaccines. So we do have funding available for anyone that needs to use the transit or would like to use the transit to get to their vaccines. So please call Victoria County Transit and set up your transport on that. The senior safety officer also sent out newsletters last week, and then we found out that there was some residents who were not receiving their newsletter, and it may have been it wasn't a one-of thing. It seemed to be an issue that they weren't getting some of things that we were sending out. So I'll remind anyone that if you have some residents who are not receiving anything from us, like our council corner or our senior safety newsletters, please have them contact us at the office so that we can get that straightened away so that we can get our information out if they are looking for it.
Just on that, Leanne.
Yep.
I've sent out flyers in the past too, when people tell me they didn't receive them. It's one route, right? The same vehicle. I can't say for sure, but I've been told that if you designate that you don't want flyers, you will not get anything that is not your address on it.
Possibly.
So, and I think people may have done this a long time ago and kind of forgot about it. And that's why they may not get the newsletters or things, well, the council corner that you send out and so on.
Right, yeah,
Uh,
very possible.
So they would have to check, I think, with the post office to see if they're on the list designated not to receive flyers, and try to straighten it out with them.
Yeah,
That's just,
Yeah.
that's my impression might be happening anyway.
we did contact Canada Post and we got it straightened out for this resident. But if there's anyone else that you know of, yeah, contact Canada Post and contact us also, because it could be a combination of both. Paul, did you have your hand up? There we are. No, okay. Okay, our tourism department. So that's Dan. Dan and the rest of our trails team have been having some ongoing meetings with trail groups. And as Wilf mentioned, Dan attended a meeting of the Crowdis Mountain Snowmobile Club over the weekend. He's also been working with the Bedeck Visioning group, and the Bedeck Visioning meeting is happening next week, April 13th. He's having a meeting with Leanne Jennings from Develop Nova Scotia on placemaking this coming week. He's doing ongoing engagement sessions throughout the county on tourism discussions. And he also did a presentation at the Strait Area Chamber of Commerce State of the Strait, which happened last week. It was an in-person session that we were fortunate enough to get to, and he did a fabulous job on the mountain bike strategy. So very proud of that presentation that happened. Recreation and active living, that is Lydia's department. Lydia is also working hard on trail development. We had meetings today with the province. She's also working on some mental health workshops that are happening, and she's reached her capacity in Ingonish. She has 20 registered for down there and 10 in Bay St. Lawrence. So that's great to hear. She's also working on a wilderness workshop that's going to be held in Tarbet on May 1st. And then she's going to be doing a presentation on the walking track initiative related to the Cape North walking track at an upcoming MPAL inspiration session happening later this month. And I had a note on the volunteer recognition, but the warden has spoken about that earlier in the session here today. In our finance department, you were sent out from Amy an application and an overview of the PACE program that we're looking to implement related to energy efficiency upgrades. And for this to go ahead, it's a program that's put on through Clean Energy Foundation. Councillor McLeod and Amy and I attended a session on it. For this program to go ahead and for Clean Energy to administer it, it has to have support from council for the concept and support of the program. So it will be a motion that I'll be looking for in a little bit related to that. We're working on some bylaws and some year ends. So we're hoping that councillors can get any expenses that they have in as soon as possible so that they can get processed. And we're talking about having a second budget day grants discussion on April 19th. The site of that will be determined. In Public Works, we are talking about opening the reuse building, the one in Bedeck, on April 24th. And as we heard earlier, we're going to be looking into purchasing some sea cans for the location down north for a reuse building. Just want to give you a couple of updates on our reuse center. Over the last 3 years, 2020 was a bit of an anomaly because it was shut down because of COVID. It only had 2 groups that used it for a month each, but overall that project has given to not-for-profit groups $23,520. So very, very good initiative. And hopefully it will bring some of the same up to the groups up north or down north related to the reuse center that we'll be putting in there. Sent out some ideas on garbage collection. We've talked about garbage collection in the past, and by garbage collection, I mean litter on the sides of the road. There was a few notes that came up from from some staff members. A reminder that Earth Day is April 22nd, which is a Thursday. Might be a good gesture for counselors to be out and get a snap a picture of a selfie with some hashtags that go around it. Also, there are some initiatives. There's one called the Great Nova Scotia Pick Me Up. I think we've been doing something like that in the past where we give out the garbage bags and have a community event. Those are a couple of things. Still waiting to hear from ACAP on the trash formers, I believe is what they call the summer students. Looking to have an application sent out or advertising for a summer student also. And then we might even look into a staff day of going out and having an initiative as a team building exercise to do some litter pickup as well. So it's everyone's job to clean up and try to keep your communities clean. So a couple of things related to that. Just to let the counselors down north know that fish offal is going to be starting to be collected at the site down north this week, and we will be monitoring it closely. We're also getting our staff trained in some computer basics for those that need a little bit of help getting up and running in some of the some computer skills. And also we are starting on the Neils Harbor water system upgrade very soon. So the tender has been awarded and we are getting going on that. Related to economic development. So I believe I sent an email out to all of you, but Patrick Austin has decided to move on. He has moved to Cape Smoky and will be starting there as their Chief Operating Officer. His start date is today, actually. So we wish him well. Cape Breton Partnership, who is his boss or his who he is employed through, they're developing a job ad, which has now been posted and will be open until I think the 23rd of April. And I'm sitting in on the hiring committee, and we are hoping to get going on that ASAP because he's done a lot of great work and we want to continue along with that. He's leaving a documented status of his files, which will be left with his replacement also. And he's going to be available to take his replacement around, introduce to all the clients that he's been working with, and give them a running start so that they're caught up to date on some things. So just a couple of other things that are happening. We're getting meetings set up with all the different trails groups related to the trails development that we are having. Again, we had a meeting with the province today on some different funding initiatives and just to introduce ourselves as the administration group that will be taking on the trail development. Yeah, we came in over budget on the Neils Harbor budget that or quotes that came in when we originally put this in. I think it was last year, and we had budgeted for a certain number, but it did come in substantially over where we were, and we'll need to take that to our budget day or financing day. So we'll give more information related to that then. So that's what I have for my report.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Leanne this evening? Just,
sorry, I have one.
Go ahead. Yes,
Yeah,
Councilman
about
Pat.
the PACE program, for the home energy program. She sent the information. Do you need some response for that?
So I think what we need is a motion from council that the PACE program for energy efficiency upgrades for residents is approved and supported by council. And then we can go into the next steps related to it. So it should be similar to the water septic system upgrades applications that we have.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's very similar to that.
Wow.
So it's for doing upgrades to residents' homes so that they can be made more energy efficient and
Okay.
can be financed over a period of, I believe that it's 10 years. So yeah,
10 years.
we will need a motion on that council supports it.
Can I have it
Okay.
now or it's later?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, do we have sufficient information? Or are you satisfied your recommendation, Leanne, is to move forward? You're okay with the
Yep, it
with
sounds
the
like a great
program that's outlined?
Yep, sounds like a great program. And it's at a low cost to residents,
To the public.
to the public. And it should save them money in the long run. It's to help with greenhouse gases and helping with climate reduction or climate harm reduction. So yeah, it's a great program.
So Councillor McLeod, are you making that a motion
Yeah, I make that motion to pass it.
for the PACE program? Do we have a seconder for
PACE
that?
program, home energy.
PACE program for home energy. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
I second.
Seconded by Councillor McNeil. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? The motion is carried and we will proceed with that initiative. Thank you. Good work on
Thank
that. Thank you. Well done. Any other questions or comments? Councillor McDonald.
Yes, Gordon, thank you. I just want to pass along appreciation to CAO and Public Works for the initiative of the reuse center coming to the north for District 6, 7, and 8. It's going to be a welcome addition that's been long been awaited for us. I just want to pass along a thank you for that.
Yeah, we think it's a great idea. It really is. It's great for everyone.
Thank you for that, Councillor. Thank you, Leanne. Anyone else? I just have one question. The vaccines are not available north yet. Am I understanding that correctly? We were on a NSFM meeting last Wednesday, Leanne and I. It is for wardens and CAOs, wardens, mayors, CAOs. They had Dr. Strang and some of the public health staff there, and they asked if they didn't have time to answer questions. So they asked if we had any questions to write them in. So I sent in a request, and my question for Dr. Strang and his staff is, when would residents of North Smoky have the vaccine available, given it's a minimum 3-hour trip one way or both ways. And they said that they would respond very quickly, and I have not received a response from them. I'm just wondering if the CAO has.
No, I have not. And also, I was looking last night on the Nova Scotia website in the COVID-19 area, and I looked at the vaccination map, and Bedeque is the closest spot so far.
Yep.
They have listed.
Yeah. And I think they're, Dr. Nicole Smith said that they may have they may be able to provide it at the hospital, but having said that, I guess there are issues around that. But I'm just wondering, should we perhaps, in light of the fact that they didn't respond to the question via the NSFM, maybe a letter to Dr. Strang requesting the same information be directed from council?
Warden, I don't know if this would solve the problem or not, but I do know that some physicians are getting vaccines. They're calling their patients, and I don't know if they're going by the age guidelines or not. So that, I didn't know about this until someone I talked to told me they got a call from their doctor to make an appointment to get a vaccination. That hasn't been publicized at all, I don't think. But if if someone maybe speak to the doctors down north and find out the doctors on the north side, I know some of them are doing it, 2 of them anyway, if that could be a possibility. I mean, that seems to me to be kind of a logical thing that you would do if it's happening. But like I said, they haven't. Has anyone else heard that? That doctors are, if you're a patient of a doctor, you may get a call and get your vaccination. So it's an avenue to explore anyway. You never know.
Interesting. And I know that there's some issues around the storage of the vaccine, and you have to have proper freezing, and it just depends on which vaccine. But thank you for that. And I think it's just important to get some direction as to when those vaccines are going to be available to residents that are at great distance from those vaccination sites. So we probably, if we were going to move forward with that, it would probably be a motion of council to do that. So if somebody would like to do that, I would appreciate it.
I'll move that, Mr. Morrison, that you write a letter to Dr. Strang to see when the residents of North of Smoky will be vaccinated.
Yep. Thank you very much for that. Do we have a seconder for that?
Second.
Second by the deputy warden. All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded. And should we get a response in the meantime, we'll send it out. And but it's been a week today, and I think that's more than sufficient time for them to provide that information. So thank you very much, and thank you for that. And the other issue, Councillor Patterson, I have no idea. I guess we'll just wait and see what transpires. Thank you. We're going to move on from the CAO's report, and we are going to move into the taxation report. And I will defer that to Leanne, please.
Yeah, so I have some good news. We get graded or marked from the province on our March 31st numbers. So I have two different sets of numbers to give you. So as of March 31st, we had 889,000 outstanding compared to 1.1 million last year. So 220,000 to the good. And I think year over year, I think the year before that, it was about 1.28 million. So we're definitely heading in the right direction. Still a long way to go, but we are heading in the right direction. So as of today, there is 843,000 outstanding compared to 1.078 million outstanding. So 228,000 lower than it was at this time last year. Our current outstanding, which is part of that 843, current is 411,000, and arrears make up 431,000 of it. So again, 228,000 year over year to the good. An update on our tax sale that happened. There was 8 properties that were listed on our tax sale, and 5 of them sold. So that's good news. They've all been paid for, and we should start collecting taxes on those on a go-forward basis on a timely manner. Just to let you know, since our last council session, there was included in those numbers that I gave you earlier, there's been 154,000 that has been collected since March 22nd. And just to also let you know that our tax installment program, that refinancing program that we were helping folks out with, that has expired. So we're not taking any more applications as of March 31st, 2021, but there were 3 new applications that did come in the last 2 weeks. So.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Are there any questions or comments in regards to the taxation report this evening? Thank you for that. We are going to move on to department infrastructure renewal issues, and we'll start with district number 8, Councillor McDonald.
Yes, thank you, Warden. I just have a few this evening. First one is in regard to McNeil Road in St. Margaret's Village. Residents in that area are requiring a review of the road. There's repairs that are required. There's some culverts that are unearthed at the end of driveways and that. And the grading that was done there, I'm being told that the road is showing ridges on both sides, and it's in major need of a review. So if I could add that to the list to have TIR look at that. They are aware of that because I've been in contact with Steve through email with that concern. So that'd be my first concern with TIR. Second is South Ridge Road. A resident has concern with road conditions, has reached out with concern or inability for emergency services to respond up in that area. It's become very muddy, and it's a situation that has I think it has evolved over the last probably 3 or 4 years with TIR. He's been reaching out and trying to get a solution. He also runs a wilderness trail service up there with skiing, and there was quite a bit of activity up there this year, but now it's become so muddy. I mean, this season the snow is gone, but he's looking for some type of solution to work with TIR on that. If we could maybe move that along sooner. My concern there is extremely with regard to emergency services, that being fire and ambulance. If it's not accessible to get into a patient in that area, that's not only a concern to the county, but to the province as well. That would be my second concern with TIR. Third is that there's a sinkhole located in front of a residence at Courtney Road. It's a hole that's it's come about since the last rainstorm that we had there. It's reached 3 feet in depth, and constituent, believe it or not, has come up and placed a tree in the hole just to, I guess, warn motorists that there is a hole there. And I was in touch with TIR in regard to that. And there's supposed to be a culvert that was to be replaced there last year. So the tree remains out in the hole of the driveway there. So if they could look at that ASAP, it would be greatly appreciated. And lastly was a concern that I brought up last fall, and still with this spring coming into effect, is in front of Morrison's restaurant there. The shoulder is completely washed out and it just needs some repair there. So if we could add that to the list as well, I would appreciate that. And that's it for TIR this evening.
Thank you very much,
Norman,
Councillor. Sorry, go ahead.
Norman, sorry. So have you contacted Steve on those?
I have through email in contact with Steve and Nelson on that. But I hope to set up a meeting with Nelson in the next week or so to go over those as well.
Thank you, Councillor. District number 7, Councillor Jackie, please.
Yes, I forwarded my TIR concerns to Steph today, and I also emailed Steve. We had a lot of flooding with the last rainstorm. A senior citizen, she did call me in concerns with this, and I passed it off on him, and she called the number and was told somebody would come look at it, and nobody did. So I asked him to look into that for me, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Warden.
Thank you, Warden. No issues. I had a couple of issues that dealt directly with Supervisor Dixon and Manager McDonald, and were looked after. So thank them for looking after those instances, and we're good for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Warden. Jackie mentioned they phoned the number. Was that the 1-800 number that TIR has that they had phoned?
Yes, it was. And she was speaking to a lady, and they said they'd have somebody right out there to take care of the problem, and no one showed up.
Yeah, well, I got a call today about a situation which was quite serious. Actually, the pavement was eroded underneath it, and they called the 800 number and were put on hold for half an hour. So, you know, anyway, other than that, that's what I heard up today. There was 2 other washouts, I guess, that were repaired. One of them was repaired within hours. So I don't, but anyway, maybe because it was a smaller job or whatever. But for the most part, there wasn't major damage, and we, you know, I guess we escaped another one. If you look at Inverness County, I mean, a few more miles in our direction, we would have been a lot worse off. So anyway, nothing major except for those washouts, and I think they're being looked at.
Thank you, Councillor Patterson. Excuse me, Councillor Longba.
Yes, well, we had a lot of serious damages done because of the big rainfall as well. Firstly, I'd like to thank Steve McDonald and TIR for responding quickly to Long Hill Road problem, and they did do a lot of work on the road there. I know they can't get to everything, but because there's so much of it, and there was a problem in Plaster Mines and kind of a misunderstanding because they were told that the culvert there was clear, but actually one side of the culvert is collapsed, and it washed their road out completely. In Englishtown, they have an ongoing problem there with the sides of the road eroding and digging in underneath the pavement, and some of the people on that road are worried that they're going to be like cut off eventually and not even be able to get out or in because the road needs a lot of work. But I have contacted Steve McDonald in emails about these issues. Oh yes, there was another name problem. It's on Port Bevis Loop, and where did I write it? It's I wrote this oh yes, here it is. They live on Old Sawmill Road, and it's off the Port Bevis Loop, and it currently says that it's the Old Mill Road, which is incorrect. So they're not getting, they do a lot of online orders since COVID, and they're not getting deliveries because their road sign says Old Mill Road, but really it's supposed to be Old Sawmill Road. And she's also a bus driver, and she said that both ends of the Port Bevis Loop are full of potholes, and the bus is hitting off of the highway when she pulls in either side there. So both sides need work, and she wondered, as far as her road goes, Old Sawmill Road, is that a listed road that TIR is responsible for, or is she responsible? I did send an email about that as well to Steve, and I haven't heard back yet. And I think that's all my TIR concerns for today. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Barb. We're going to go district number 2, Perla McLeod, please.
Thank you, Warren. I talked to with the supervisor, Mr. Green, and he's aware of I just want this in the minutes. I talked to him, and he's aware to the roads in District 2. I talked to him, and after the rainy weather, they know there's a lot of roads that have to be done. Almost, they say maybe 80% of the roads that are in bad shape right now for the rain. And they say we'll start more for when the restrictions are lifted by the end of April, on May or beginning of May, because the trucks, they're too heavy, so they can just go and put the gravels. So we have to be a little patient for that. And I just, for my constituents, I just remind them to call the OCC 1-844-696-7737 and report the roads. They know they're aware they're bad, but they will be a help if they have the road in his list, and that way will be go through. I talked to and I send my roads to Steve too. So I just want this in the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor McLeod. District number 1, any TIR concerns in your district, sir?
Yes, thank you, Warden. Yeah, there's a few after the rain. There's flooding damage. TIR know about this damage. I have to get in touch with Steve on an update about all this, especially on the new road again in Red Point. Well, not new road, the new work that was done on the Red Point Road. It was flooded over again, the second time in 2 weeks. The St. Columba Road, the Walker Road, and also the Dunn Road had damage done to it with the flooding. Also, residents are wondering if there's going to be work done on the John Neal George Road this year. Some gravel and ditching are needed in areas really badly. So I'll get in touch with Steve McDonald about that. Thank you.
Thank you. District 3, none to report that I haven't already reported, just some flooding along the Shore Road in a couple of locations. And as mentioned, just added that to the minutes because we have phoned them in, and just so the residents do know. So with that, we're going to wrap up our TIR concerns for this evening, and we are going to move on. Are there any notice of motions tonight? We do not have any, so we're going to move to district concerns, and we're going to start with district number 1, please.
Yes, thank you again, Warden. There's a couple of concerns. One was a correction in the minutes of February 22nd. I apologize, I missed it. It was taken care of. I was in contact with the warden, CAO, and Steph about it. And I thank Steph for correcting the problem right away. It had to do with the bridge being named Leonard Boudreau Bridge instead of the Cape Breton Highlanders Memorial Way. So it was all cleared up. Thank you again, Steph. Also, there's a lot of derelict buildings in my district, and I'm just putting out the word to local residents to have their properties cleaned up. Or a list will be sent to the District Planning Commission, and something will be done about it through the county. There are a number of unsightly premises, and they have to be looked after. So I just wanted to let people know about that. And do it in a legal way too. Thank you.
No illegal dumping. Yep. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder for the residents, all residents for that matter. That's a good point. District number 2, Councillor MacLeod.
Yeah, I have just a couple. Maybe council would like to send a letter of appreciation for his service to Patrick and say the thank you for the service.
Yes, we can.
You can make a motion for that.
Yes, please make a motion. And so
Make
you
a
have
motion
moved-
to send a letter to appreciation for his service to Patrick Austin and good luck in his new endeavors.
Yep, thank you very much. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
I second.
Seconded by Councillor McNeil. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion's carried.
Another one, just remind to the people, the seniors drop-in program is now in Bold, Houston Landing. Was the first Thursday was 15 people, so it was
Wow.
very well received. And it's in Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 to 12, for the seniors to have a chat, play a game, or just drop by and say hello. I just remind them. Another one, do you know anything about the Circle Cities? If Amy was going to do, because this application going April 30th will be the deadline for an application for that. So I wonder. She's a
Yes, she is working on that. I don't think she was going to do a presentation, but I think she needed a letter of support on that. But I think that we thought the letter of support could come from the CAO.
Oh,
I believe so. But it wouldn't hurt to make a motion that everyone is in favor of applying for that.
okay. We'll make a motion for the, if we can send a support for the application for Circle Cities with the FCM program.
So the Circular Cities is almost like a mentoring program across the country. So you can get matched up with other municipalities who have been working with neighboring municipalities. We do a great job right now at it, but we can hear what other areas are doing, maybe find some new innovative things to do as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds
That
like
was,
the same like the transit. And sadly, we do some, that's kind of model they're talking.
thank you. Are you making that a motion, Councillor MacLeod?
I make a motion to make the application for Circular Cities with the FCM.
Okay, thank
I'm
you. Do we have a sec?
I
Sorry, who's
second.
Thank you, Barb. Councillor Longva. It's been seconded by Councillor Longva. All in favor?
Aye. Contrary
Minded? Motion's carried. Thank you.
And the
Anything
last
else?
one, I asked to consult if can approve. They invite me to a social enterprise world forum, policy forum. It's for worldwide as a local government. Just asking for council if they're okay if I attend. It's going to be virtual this time, and so I just need approval for that.
Yeah, can we have a motion to appoint Councillor McLeod to attend that session? And my apologies, I sent a note around earlier. I thought it was travel involved, but to appoint her to represent Victoria County or as a representative of Victoria County would still have to go through council. So could we have a motion to appoint Councillor McLeod and give permission to attend that session virtually, please?
I'll make the motion
Thank you.
for Perla to attend this.
Thank you. Councillor, do we have a seconder for that, please?
I'll second that.
The Deputy Warden has seconded that. All in favor? Contrary, and well done to attend that session, and I know you'll represent as well.
She's
Thank you.
going to be a panelist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
should be a panelist. So,
Thank you.
great.
Yeah,
Well
Thank
done.
you.
District number 4, any district concerns?
Yes, I wanted to check on the status of the funding application that the St. Anne's Bay Time Bank put in. If there is status on that.
Through the grants application?
Yeah, they applied, the St. Anne's Bay Time Bank applied
Yeah,
for
so-
money.
So the process that works, Barb. So council are the ones who get together and approve those grants. So that's what we're going to be doing on April 19th.
April 19th. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Then I had some correspondence that I'd like to read from another group. The North River, it's written to the Honorable Ian Rankin, Premier of Nova Scotia. Dear Premier, the North River Trail to the highest waterfall in the Maritime Provinces is Victoria County's oldest and most rewarding hiking trail. It penetrates the North River wilderness along the river's east branch for 9 kilometers to the 32-meter high North River Falls, while passing through old settlements, forestry, work campsites, old forest growth, salmon pools, and geological mysteries. It is a hike that offers an adventure in every season and attracts hikers, fishermen, snowshoers, and skiers from the local communities and beyond. It is one of Victoria County's major tourism attractions, and yet the trail receives almost no seasonal maintenance, leaving large blowdowns blocking trail paths and brook crossings. The condition of the trail currently requires some degree of bushwhacking and keen reconnoitering to find one's way. I've often met otherwise experienced hikers that have turned back, having not found their way through. This is an appeal to the multi-level of political leaders and agencies responsible for the maintenance of our recreational and tourism infrastructure to take note. This valuable historic legacy must have reliable yearly funding allocated for the clearing of fallen trees and the repair of its wasting signage. The Protected Areas branch of Nova Scotia's Department of Environment became responsible for the trail when the watershed became a wilderness protected area in 1998, but it is too severely underfunded to maintain it. Previously, the trail was maintained by DNR, now Department of Lands and Forestry, and was and is better funded, but no longer maintains it. Somehow this dilemma must be resolved so this major asset for much needed healthy outdoor recreation and tourism can be restored to a condition that is reliably usable and does credit to its importance. This is an open plea to bureaucrats, technocrats, county councillors, MLAs, MPs, and ministers responsible, and department staff. Please, good people, pick up the ball. That's written by Aaron Snyder on behalf of the St. Anne's Bay Development Association Foot Trails Committee. And I'd like to make a motion that we write a letter as well to support his letter, because it is
Very
a
good.
gem.
Great. Thank you
Thanks.
for that, Councillor. So that it's a motion by Councillor Longva to provide a letter of support to SAB for the protection and the continued development of that trail, make sure that it's safe and maintained. So do we have a
So-
seconder for that?
Just a sec, who are we writing the letter to?
I think that letter was to the Premier. I suspect we would write a letter to the Premier supporting that correspondence.
Yes, it was to the Premier. Honorable Ian Rankin.
So our letter would go to the Premier, supporting the correspondence that SAD is forwarded to him in regards to the North River Trail, Falls Trail. So that's been moved by Councillor Longblood. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second that.
Seconded by Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Any other district concerns this evening?
No, that's it. Thank you, Warden.
Thank you, Councillor. We're going to go to District number 5. Any district concerns in District 5 this evening?
Thank you, Warden. No, just a word about the fiber op project, I guess, on Bulletry. I was told today by someone from Bell Reliant that I would have it in 2 weeks. There's a number of people that do already have it. I'm going back probably 3 weeks to a month when they started installing, but they're, as I think Larry noted, or Norman, there's Bell Line trucks everywhere, you know, and so on and so forth. So that seems to be coming along well. The other issue related to that is Carla Arsenault sent some maps out last week, and the one for Ross Ferry is the same as the one we saw months ago, and it doesn't complete Victoria County on Bulletry. There's a gap. I have a suspicion and I have a hunch of what might be going on because the area that's being done is on the 674 exchange, and the area that's not shown is on the 736 exchange. The 674 exchange comes from North Sydney, and the 736 exchange comes from Sydney Mines. But I've never been able to verify that as actual, you know, that is the situation. And I don't think there's maps available for the south side of Bulletry, and they're under CBRN too, which is another complication. But anyway, I know, Leanne, I think Patrick was working on this before he left, and I had mentioned it before. And maybe if you could just, like I have emailed John Swanty before Christmas, and he didn't get back to me. So, you know, I'm getting calls about, are we going to get fiber up in this area that it's not shown on the map? So I'd just like to have it one way or the other so we know, and we can tell people actually what's going on. So Leanne, maybe I can email you some more details, and you can look into it for me. Other than
Yeah, I
that,
can see what I can do. Yep. But I get the same no response from John Swanty.
Yeah.
So I ask the questions and he emails me his information, but it's only what they seem to want to tell you.
yeah, I guess there must be someone who knows the answer to the question somewhere, hopefully. But anyway, thanks. That's it. Everything else is great. Spring is coming. The snowbanks are gone. All is well.
Life is good. Thank you, Councillor. District number 6, please, Deputy Warden.
Thanks, Warden. Just 2 items this evening. First, I guess getting back to a letter we wrote and calls we made in regards to the Ingonish River Wilderness Protection Area. I finally did get a little bit of satisfaction from Lands and Forests. A gentleman named Peter that works in the office there was very helpful and tried his best to help us out. But it ends up being Department of Environment that we really have to deal with. So I'd like to make a motion to request a meeting with the Minister of Environment, Keith Irving, ASAP, as soon as can be, in regards to the Ingonish River Wildlife area, proposed area. Take it in Zoom, take it in person, any meeting at all as soon as possible, we'd greatly appreciate it. And also like during that request that a letter that we received from the Minister of Environment, Miller, back in 2016 be attached and sent to them again, since we did not receive any response the first time. But I'd like to make the motion that that letter be sent, the request for a meeting be sent to Minister Irving.
Thank you very much for that. That is a motion from the Deputy Warden. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Organ, and maybe a copy of that letter go to the new Premier as well, Deputy Warden. Just, he should be familiar with it as well. He was a Minister of both Environment and Lands and Forestry, so.
Exactly. And
be okay to.
Yeah, that'd be great, but that gets to my second motion, so.
Oh, sorry. My
Oh, no problem, no problem. I'd like to make a motion that a letter to the acting Premier Rankin stating our disappointment with the lack of consultation on the Ingonish River Wildlife proposed area in Victoria County. Why have we not been consulted, and why is his government going back on the word that they gave us in 2016? But I guess an overall disappointment with the government in power right now, with a lack of response to any of our questions, any of our letters. It takes multiple letters, multiple phone calls to get anyone to even answer you. So I'm very disappointed in this government that we have right now. But I'd like to also attach to him the letter from 2016 in regards to the proposed area that they want to protect. And hopefully we'll get some a better response this time. But I'd like to make that a motion. We send that letter.
Excellent motion. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
I second it.
Councillor Longwell seconded that. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. The letters will be sent ASAP as requested.
That's greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Anything else for District number 6?
We're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. Councillor Organ.
Well, I had one thing that you mentioned on before. The residents are still wondering about the vaccines coming north of Smoky. I was going to ask you for an update, but we know the answer to that.
We got it.
Nothing. A letter of congratulations was delivered to the oldest volunteer firefighter, who is 100, Mr. Ron Ingram, and a picture was taken, and I have sent that off to Jocelyn for the next seniors letter to be circulated. Jaime Batiste was in the North of Smoky area to meet with fishermen yesterday to listen to any of their concerns. I never heard back how that went, but I know he was in Bay St. Lawrence, Cape North, Niels Harbor, and Ingonish. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your report. We'll go to District number 8, please.
Yes, thank you, Warden. I'm not sure, maybe this may have fell under TIR, but I've had quite a few phone calls from residents in the Dingwall area in regard to correspondence that Victoria County sent off to the province in regard to where the road lies on the capital program. There's been no response from the province, and I've had several businesses that have written letters to the provincial government in regard to that project, and they as well have had no response from TIR or the province. And they were requesting if there's some type of virtual meeting that gets set up, and with their disregard of lack of correspondence back, it's becoming frustrating because it just seems year after year that they get put off, I guess, is in a sense is what they're feeling, that they're getting, that year after year they're being told that the next year the work will be done and it's not getting done. And now that, in all honesty, TIR is not even taking the decency to reach back to the constituents and answer their emails or their calls. So I don't know where that stands. Maybe if we could put a request in to have a meeting with TIR or through Steve McDonald, or should I contact him myself with regard to that? I just would like to know your thoughts on that.
Traditionally, we've met with staff from TIR a couple of times a year, and given the time of year, maybe it's a good time to sit down and see if they're available for a chat, get some updates in person, and that would be done by asking the CAO to contact the representatives and go from there and see if they are available, and we'll make it a point to meet with them. So does that sound reasonable to you, sir?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. No, I appreciate CEO. If you could do that, please, and thank you.
Yep. No, we'll, if that's good, Leanne will be in touch with the department and we'll see when they are available, and we'll set up something, and we'll make it so it's either they can meet us north and or south, or north and south, whatever it's convenient for them will be convenient for us. And if we ask them to come to a meeting, then it's our meeting, and we'll see if they will attend and when. So, thank you.
Yes, not so much a district concerns. I just like to do two mentions. One being
Sure.
One of our student minister, Mr. Rick Gunn, who was in the area for the past several months for Ingonish United and Cape North area. As the student minister has finished his locum and will be moving on to Bedford United. I'd just like to say thank you to Mr. Gunn for all his his work in the area with all the families north of Smoky, and is going to be terribly missed. And we wish him great success in his next chapter of ministry up towards Bedford. And
Thank you.
lastly, just want to, I don't want to sound conceited, but just want to say that the area is alive with Bell trucks. Fiber is being run to all the homes in the area, and people seem to be excited over it. And I just want to thank Councillor McNeil and Deputy Warden Daphne and Tom Wilson as well, who sat on the Broadband Committee, in their tireless work and hours they put into this. From District 8, we thank you, gentlemen, for everything, and just want to pass that along. And that's it for District 8.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the kind comments to our colleagues on council, and most deserving, and they will be captured in the minutes as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Norman. I hope you enjoy it.
All right, we are moving down to the last couple of items on council tonight.
Warden?
Are there bylaws? Sorry.
Did you have any district concerns?
No, I'm sorry, I did not. Thank you for that, Leanne. I don't have any. I brought up the issue about the Irving earlier about the traffic control study. So that was in old business, but thank you for that. No, I don't have any this evening. Thank you. Are there any bylaws this evening?
So as I mentioned earlier, I will be sending out a community standards bylaw tomorrow for you to have a read through, send any comments back into us. I've also sent out, or we talked about it at the last council session related to the local improvement bylaw, local improvement charge bylaw. I would recommend, or I would appreciate any comments back on that also, so we can do 2 first readings at our next council session.
Thank you very much. Any policies for review this evening?
None, no.
Very good. Any correspondence that you have to share?
No, there's none that I haven't sent, but there is one thing that we haven't done. So speaking about the reuse center, we are going to start April 24th, opening it up there. There are 2 spots to fill at the end of the session. What we've done is we've taken right now the people who didn't get their chance in 2020, they're getting a chance in 2021, but there's 2 spots that are left to be spoken for. I think it's September and October. So Jocelyn has the names, and she also has an app set up that will generate a random name based on the names that have been submitted. So I'm wondering if she can come back in. I think she's sitting in the shadows somewhere right now, and she could roll her app to see if we can pick these 2 spots that are available, and she will let them all know. Jocelyn, you're on mute there if you're in or coming in. You there? We'll have to have somebody sing and dance while we're waiting for her, maybe.
Councillor McDonald is a musician. Be a good time to
Yeah,
show us your
great.
talents.
Jocelyn, we can't hear you. If I see that your microphone's not muted, but we can't hear you.
Oh, we hear you now a bit. We probably don't even need to hear her if she has her app. Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's
Okay.
spinning.
Yes. Okay. This is exciting. So the 4 groups that put in their application are up there. And so this will do a random draw. Nice. Okay. So Bedak Valley Community Hall, is that September, Jocelyn?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now we're down to 3. There we go. Bedak Rugby. So Jocelyn will be in contact with them about giving them the dates that they are in the reuse center. So I would imagine that when we get set up down north, we'll be doing the same format of inviting local not-for-profits to put their names in to run it. And we'll have a meeting to discuss how it works.
Thank you, and thank you, Jocelyn, for that unique drawing process. We appreciate that. We did have a meeting at 3 o'clock, special meeting of council at 3 o'clock this afternoon to deal with municipal properties and the future of municipal properties and buildings. There was a recommendation made by Councillor McNeil, and those minutes will be public. We do need a motion to approve those recommendations from that meeting. So do we have a motion to accept, to approve the recommendations that were made at that meeting this afternoon?
Move.
Moved by Councillor McLeod. Do we have a seconder, please?
A second.
Second by Councillor McNeil. All in favor? Contrary minded? The motion is carried. So that concludes our council session for this evening. Is there any final questions or comments before we have, do we have any questions from anybody that may have joined us virtually? Okay, we do not have any questions from any virtual attendees this evening. Our next council session is
April 19th.
okay, and we have a full day that day.
We do, and the location is yet to be determined.
Okay, thank you very much. We will see you on April 19th for our next council session. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thanks to our staff that helped us do our virtual meeting tonight.
Yeah, and just to let you know, I think there was 30 people that were watching online. That was early on. There may have been a few more that joined along the way. So,
okay, thank you, and good evening.